Hi and hello everybody. Welcome back to these training guides. And before we get in, I wanted to go ahead and say a big thanks to everybody. You guys have been actually killing it, dude. We started at 400 subs for whenever we started posting Marvel Rival stuff, and what are we at now? We're about 800 at the time that I'm recording it, and you guys are going insane. And I love you. I love you so much. I'm gonna make this series on every character in the game and just go through it as much as I possibly can, where I do the training video of the character, and then since those typically tend to go a bit longer, the next video that drops the same day is going to be the actual gameplay in matches of the character in a ranked setting, whether that be solo queue or duo queue or with like 3 or 4 people, regardless, whatever. You get it, and I'm gonna start calling this series it's gonna be called Spark Notes. It's gonna be something that we're gonna whip up, and I would like to do this for all of the characters moving forward, whether that be Mr. Fantastic dropping in season 1 or Doctor Doom. Anyway, I'll get out of your ear. Let's go ahead and start getting into it. Psylocke is the character of choice that we're going today. You guys wanted it really bad, especially after the magic video, and I'm here to deliver as much as I possibly can. So, first thing that we need to talk about, Psylocke is a duelist, and Psylocke is a tank buster at that, as well as an assassin. She's pretty good at all of these roles and can do a pretty good job, but more importantly, you want to capitalize on the fact that this character's damage output is disgusting, on top of having a really good closer and a really good escape, which is phenomenal. She's got 2 really great escape tools, as well as having really fast CDRs. We'll get into that in a second. So we're going to start off with the left click, which is her psionic crossbow, which just unleashes bolts with psionic crossbow to damage enemies and reduce the cooldowns of all of her abilities. So, as we said, we'll just go ahead and burn through some. So we have no dashes, and if you want to take a look at the bottom right where the dash meter is, just look how much faster this recharges now. Crazy. And it's quite a bit. That's pretty good. It really incentivizes you to kind of want to keep up the game plan that you want with Psylocke in general. Characters like Psylocke remind me a lot of characters like Soldier 76 in Overwatch. This character doesn't want to just sit behind a wall the entire game, but we'll get into that a little bit more in a second. The next thing, her ability for her left shift is obviously the dash. What it does is essentially you dash. It's a damaging dash. It's pretty good. You can cancel some abilities. We can take a look at it actually. So you can cancel the left click animation, so you can shoot 1 bullet, dash, instead of having to do the mandatory 2 bullets that happen normally. Pretty good, pretty solid, pretty clean. Helps you kind of just disrupt the shotgun blast in case you're needing that quicker amount of damage right there. Pretty solid. The damage on it, it's nothing to write home about. Again, it's like more of a closer or a gap closer if you absolutely need it. But a lot of the time, what we're actually going to be using the left shift for is going to be the dash. I don't want to bullshit you. I'm not going to tell you that this ability is going to be your all-in or anything like that. Honestly, a lot of times, unless you're about to ult, you're going to be hard-pressed to want to actually dash into a bunch of enemies. You're going to die. You have 250 HP. You don't get any bonus HP other than like from damaging with her right click. Yeah. Which it's 100, so, or it's 50, so, you know, it's whatever, but like you're still getting like at 250 HP without landing a right click, you're getting one shot by magic and pretty much one shot by Black Panther and Iron Fist. So who cares? Anyway, let's keep on. Let's move on. So with that, we get into her E. It's stealth, movement speed. Can't really talk much more about it. You go really fast. It's really good. Another really good escape tool option. She has those in spades. It's her biggest thing. Next thing we're going to go ahead and talk about is her right click. Now this is the thing. This is the absolute bread and butter. There's actually some stuff that we're going to want to talk about with this ability, and just show off a little bit because it's a bit creative. It's a bit interesting the way that it works. So normally you press the right click, and what it does is it puts a mark and then it retracts, right? Well, we'll go ahead and get our right click back by lowering cooldown by doing damage with the left click. So this is actually pretty decent, but it has some utility that is not going to be readily apparent to you from the jump. Psylocke actually is able to do some different things with this. She can combo with her shotgun blast to do incredible damage like so. We're going to go ahead and look. This is just going to be a standard left click into right click again to retract the blade faster. So left click, right click again. Almost dead. Left click. So, but I'm not much of a combo nerd. I don't love to just tell you, hey, learn this combo and you're going to win the game. Typically, I think people that do that are kind of disingenuous with how they talk. But in this situation, this is actually incredibly good. We'll show it on a tank here in a second, but I just want to show it on a squishy. These bots have 250 HP, so we'll go ahead and see. So if you do left click, you can make it really quick. It's super duper seamless, provided that you hit your shots. We'll get into that in a little bit. So it's really good. There's other properties that this actually has. So upon throwing your right click, if we land it up there, it actually will retract towards your crosshair before returning to you. So what does this mean? In a vacuum, if you want to be really freaky, in a situation like this, you could actually throw this behind you, look at the target. It's going to hit the target still and return to you. So, you actually have a lot more leniency with this ability than you might think. You actually have practically 2 chances to land your hit. It's really good because if you hit the target and then you retract, you will get the damage anyway. But if you need to and you end up actually missing, say he just dashed over here, you actually do get some of the return back. It's a really nice investment, and it can allow for some geeky stuff, like you can still get the one-shot combo provided that you land the right-click return on a squishy. Pretty good, pretty solid. I'm really glad that we went over that. That's one of the most important things. Her right-click is like a lot of her damage. Obviously, her shotgun is good. It's a shotgun, so, you know, over here we're going to do a lot less damage than, say, like here. Duh. You know, obviously, we're pretty much two-shotting four-shot. You know what I mean. Whatever. I don't care. Anyway, we're doing a lot of damage. It's really, really good. It's pretty good chunk. She does really, really good damage. As I said, she has it in spades. Damage is not something that this character lacks at all. It's really, 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 really good. With that, we'll go ahead and talk about the ultimate. So, the ultimate, Dance with the Butterfly, slash nearby enemies with psionic katana, dealing massive damage. While this ability does do massive damage, there are times where I will see Psylocke players dash in, use this ult, get 4, and then there are times where the Luna Snow has their screen turned on, they will hear it, and then they will press their Q button and you aren't doing any damage. That stings, it sucks a lot. The lucky thing is, though, if that does end up happening to you, you do have this, and you have a second one, you know? And then we're just doing damage to get a return on our cooldowns, dumping damage as much as we possibly can. But provided that you are playing smart and you are actually listening for Q time, say it's a Mantis ult or a Luna Snow ult or a Cloak and Dagger ult, and you're like, oh, they definitely do not have a support ult. You pop this thing. The radius isn't that big, but I mean, like, if you're standing in it and you are not a tank, it's an insta-loss. Like, you just take that shit, you eat it, and you have to move forward. A lot of times in low elo, you are probably going to hit Q as Psylocke. You could probably climb up to silver just playing this character because you're going to run into a team fight, press Q, and kill everybody on your team, or on the enemy team. When you get to gold, people actually use their brain a little bit more, and will actually play around cooldowns a lot better. But that doesn't mean Psylocke ult is not good in any capacity. We'll go ahead and we'll take a look on Magneto up here. So as you can see, big boy, big chunky man. Tanks are actually something that Psylocke does really, really well. She can output, like, actually ludicrous damage. This character's crazy when it comes to hurting a tank. I don't know why they made it this way. I don't know if it was intended. But other than like Hella Hawkeye and in some cases Punisher, she is like outright just like the best tank buster in the game. Better than Wolverine in my opinion as well. Wolverine has other value that we went over in the last video, but this character has just so much at her disposal that it's kind of crazy. So we'll go ahead and just see the combo on a tank character without some of the extra stuff that we're going to show. And that's not even the fastest that we can do. Let me see if I can actually get this up and running for you guys a little bit quicker. Yeah, we'll go ahead and try one more time. I'm not super clean at it yet, but And that is just without any of the other abilities. Now, if you're a freak and you're a nerd and you really, really want to see the combo, it is going to be a simple left click into right click, recast, into left click again. And then we're going to dash, dash, ult. It's going to look, it sounds like a lot. It's really not. If you need to slow down the video to 0.5, that's how I ended up learning it, and just look for the visual cues. So we'll go ahead and show it off right now. I missed it, but then essentially you go into ult. Ideally, you want the dash backward to land, but I play on kind of low DPI, so it's a little bit harder for me than others. But regardless, it's pretty good. It's really solid. Don't be afraid to pop ult on this character and just drop in ult to kill a tank. Psylocke gets her ult back pretty quick because you were just constantly dishing out damage. So if we want to go ahead and just take a look at what I mean exactly, we can. So we're starting at 0%. Her innate charge actually feels faster than other DPSs. I don't know if this is by design, but it's practically every second you're getting it. So just off of just doing this damage, we are already at 30. It's not like you're going to get it like instantaneously, but provided you're actually doing your job as a duelist and you are hitting your mark and you're actually dumping as much damage as you can when needed, it's going to fill up. And you should have this pretty much every relevant team fight if you're doing your job and staying alive. Now, this isn't going to happen every time. There are going to be some games where this is going to be a problem. But unlike some of the other DPSs in this game that are more quote-unquote dive-oriented, I actually do think Psylocke is pretty good at solo carrying your team. This character has a lot of stuff and is really, really, really good at being a closer. And what do I mean by a closer? This is the character that's going to end up winning the end of the team fight. This is the character that you want to rely on in the end for the clutch or kick situations. That is what Psylocke is. That is what Hela ult is. These things are really strong. Psylocke is really good at that. The issue that I see a lot of people do is that they're playing her in a way that's not really suited for kind of what she wants to do. She wants to be an assassin, but at the same time, she kind of wants to play like a mid-ranged marksman. When with a dash as a getaway or a closing kill. Rather than you going up here at point blank, which you can do, by the way, the problem becomes that you can get into a really, really exposed situation. But when you don't have cooldowns, you actually do a really, really good job on this character with your movement by drawing attention away from your team. And then whenever they're not needing you anymore to do that, then you can move. And then we can start doing some more damage. And then that is when things get really, really crazy, especially for people that love this kind of thing. This more of, rather than being, like, I'm gonna go in all in this guy and leave, you're more of like a mosquito, where you're constantly applying pressure from a side lane to kind of give your tank the opening to move forward and divert the attention back onto him. What do I mean by this? It's going to be a lot easier for your tank to move forward if you are doing constant damage and then using your assassination capabilities as a final call. More of like a, my tank is up here. Say my tank was at 20 meters and we need them to move forward. This is where we want to be drawing attention. Psylocke is really, really good at this because say Hawkeye does turn. What is he going to do now? We're out of the way. Doesn't matter. He can't catch us. It's just impossible. Hela and Hawkeye don't have the movement to keep up. Those are typically going to be the characters. Where it gets a little scary is with dive, but then we have to bring up the topic of you just dash into the air and press E, and you quite literally have 360 mobility, and you can just fall back to your tank, and then you are playing defensively with your tank, waiting for your cooldowns. And again, because Psylocke gets her cooldowns back so quick, by doing this constant damage, we're practically looking at a non-problem the entire time for having no CDs, provided that you are doing your job. This is why this character doesn't exactly work all the time as just a pure-based assassin. A lot of people that are going to do that are going to mess up mechanically, and they're going to die. What we are looking for on a character like this is more consistent damage, and to get the kills when we need them, and move and use our abilities with purpose rather than to just throw them out there. There's no sense in doing all this and then throwing your abilities out if you're not really getting a return, and all you're doing in the end is giving yourself the option to get killed. Now, we will talk about this a little bit though. Psylocke is actually a lot better suited when you are fighting enemies that are moving from side to side, and we will go over this in just a moment actually. So we'll go down here and we'll go to the parameters. We'll change this and move action to horizontal, and we'll keep it on normal movement speed. So there's going to be something that is going to be super duper helpful here when we are attacking from the side. Okay, so it's going to be a lot easier for us to land our things whenever we are looking at it this way, whenever they're moving front and back, because rather than breaking up the movement where they're moving forward or backward, we are actually in a position where they are moving side to side. They are doing all of the aiming for us. No problem at all. And a lot of people don't utilize this enough. This is actually something that people that played Valorant are probably going to understand a little bit more, or CSGO. This is actually really, really important, and it doesn't sound like it's that easy on paper, but it genuinely, you would be surprised at how many times you're going to see a tank floating side to side like this, or maybe a DPS like Hawkeye or Hela trying to line up a shot. This is actually something that's going to happen, and the best way to do this is actually you have your E, and then you ult, and then that's just a kill if it's the tank, and if it's a squishy, they're already dead by the first burst. You just give yourself way more safety when doing something like this and dumping damage into a squishier character, or a character like a tank, where you can actually just get a bunch of damage out and then leave if you need to. This is also going to do exactly what we talked about before, where it's going to divert attention. This actually does give you the option to assassinate the character and then get out, and then you made space for your team, and now you can play around your cooldowns, because now you have mana advantage. You can fight, provided that they don't have 6 ults or 5 ults and you have 0. This is really, really good. Now, big thing that we are going to want to talk about. What is not great for Psylocke? Psylocke is pretty heavily hurt by Namor Penny whenever you are playing as a dive character. I know I say this about every character that I've covered so far, but Namor Penny is a really, really disgusting combo. But the nice thing about Psylocke that other characters like Magic and Wolverine don't have, that I didn't went over in the last time. Say this is a Penny turret right here. You're actually really, really good at breaking this because of your right click and then falling back to your team and playing your cooldowns. It's super helpful actually. You can actually get a lot done by doing so. And I'm really, really glad that she's an option in this game, because she's going to add up a lot of breakage to these kind of team comps where you really don't want to be as close as some characters like Magic, but you really don't want to be super far away because you want to be in the thick of it. This is going to be a character that provides a lot to you, and it's going to be a lot of agency. And in my opinion, this is one of the characters that can solo carry a game, because she... not only does she actually like provide kills and stats, and she can really, really, really come into her own kind of role with this kind of thing. More so, what I mean by this is that it's more of a mental mind game, because once you start doing this a little bit, you start making them switch team comp and worry about you a lot more once the first few times come. Because you're a character that they have to respect. If they don't respect you in neutral, you are going to die to this character 9 times out of 10. She's just going to get ult, run into your team, and kill you. Or at the very least, because she gets her ult so quick compared to other DPSs, other than like Hawkeye and Hela, who are also dumping damage, she is going to force an ult one way or another. I've seen people get a lot of value out of literally just diving Luna Snow and spawn and queuing, just so either 1, she has to pop ult to get to her team, or 2, she dies. And then they're staggered and they're late. She's really, really good at both of these things. Solo ulting on Psylocke doesn't sound like it could be that great, but you can actually get a lot of value because this is such a scary button that you have to respect, because the only real way of living it other than just escaping it as a character with a dash, who you're really not wanting to use on unless you've seen them dash anyway. Healers, like the 2 best healers in the game, Luna Snow and Mantis, are hard countered by this ultimate because they have to pop or die. They don't have another option because they can't go fast enough to get out of it, so it's a really, really safe play. But without further ado, we will have a video going over some of more of the gameplay on the next video, and I hope that you guys enjoyed this one. I really had a lot of fun making this one. I actually have been enjoying Psylocke a lot more than I thought. She was not a character that I was initially interested in, but I really like her role as a duelist in this game. Let me know other characters you want to see down below. Remember, if you're watching in the afternoon, it's super important that you guys go and eat your lunch. This has been Psylocke. This has been Spark Notes. I love you guys so much. Thanks again for all the love and support. Later, later, later. Bye, bye, bye.